The Call to the Faithful. It's been a long time since you've heard it, but now is the right time. Greetings, brothers and sisters from around the world, and welcome back. To the unapologetic, unadulterated, uncompromising haven of intelligent black thought. As we come full circle, as we bring events back home. We are going to do something that some people said was incredible and that other people thought was impossible. Because we are not simply putting out a piece of media. We are not simply putting out a film or a movie. We are correcting what went wrong 1,200 years ago. You are going to witness the rebirth, the resurrection, and the rise of African society and civilization as you knew it and as you will know it. Welcome to the Black Channel. I am, of course, your brother, your humble servant, the Black Authority, and an event that has been so long in coming. We are now coming upon the eve of it. Brothers and sisters, if you're black and broke, it's time to wake up. It's 7 a.m. There were many people out there who doubted that it was possible, and you will be seeing so much more. Understand something. I didn't just get up some random Tuesday and say, let's go make a movie. I didn't just jump up because I was bored, or because I was trying to run a scam, or because I was trying to impress somebody. 4 years ago, I first said that we wanted to do this 4 years ago. Events happened, things occurred. We had setbacks and delays, but I was working on it and saying nothing to anyone about it. And by the time you all knew that 7 a.m. had been filmed, it was already over with and done. By the time you even found out that I had filmed it. I was doing it different than anything else you had ever heard. Power does not put out a press release. Power simply moves. And it does things to you. That's all. And now, brothers and sisters, if you were watching earlier today, if you were not aware, you are about to become aware. How in the world did you not find out? Earlier today, I did, of course, publicize the news. The release date for 7 a.m. has been announced. Martin Luther King Jr. weekend, the weekend before his holiday in January. We are going to have the premiere in New York at the nicest movie theater in the city. We are going to put Intelligent Black Society on display so that you can see how we do this. For my people, I have not reserved a seat at the Fleabag Inn or a seat at the Dusty Playhouse. You will be at the nicest movie theater in New York City, in Manhattan, as we gather the brethren together, and we're just getting started. Time to give you all an update. I cannot give you all the details, but you will be informed as the situation progresses. We are going to be in the top 10 media markets in America. 7 a.m. is going to play in theaters in all, not some, not most, all of the top 10 media markets in America. If you are in one of the top 10 media markets in America, you will be able to see 7 a.m. And if you live near it, it is worth the drive. You will be able to see 7 a.m. New York, LA, Dallas, Atlanta, Chicago, Philadelphia, Detroit, Baltimore, DC, St. Louis, and more locations to be added soon. But we are going to be canvassing the area. We are going to be canvassing it. You will be able to buy tickets soon as well, but we wanted to let everybody know that we are starting it now to get the word out, so when tickets do become available, you will know. But now you know. Mark the date on your calendar. Clear the weekend. If you are in New York and a couple of other places that we're lining up, I'm not going to say the locations yet until we are certain about them, because I want to make sure I've got all of them lined up before I say anything about that. But for pretty much everywhere, it will be available January 22nd. So the premiere will be Saturday, January 17th, rolling right into Martin Luther King Jr.'s day, redefining the day. And then right after that, you will be able to see it in most everywhere else around the country. Let there be no doubt about it. This is going to be the motion picture event of the 21st century. Bar none. There has been nothing like it. There will be nothing like it. I think that you will all agree when you actually see it, that with the contents of it and the communication of it, that we actually benefit from it. As I told you, there would be things I would be adding as far as Detroit, as far as Ferguson. That is in the documentary. So that everybody who has not been a listener to the Black Channel, has not been a listener or an adherent or a member of Intelligent Black Society, they will be able to know what you already do. This will be presented in a fashion that you will be able to show it at your churches, your civic groups, television, daycare. You know, you got Black History Month coming up right afterward. You will be able to show this to anybody and everybody. They will get more of an education and an enlightenment as to why we are in the situation that we are in as Black people on planet Earth today, and what needs to be done about it, not tomorrow, but right now. This is not simply a movie. It is a wake-up call. It is a clarion call. It is a call to arms. We are also going to investigate some other areas as well. By the way, we are gonna have ample room wherever we're going to. By the way, there's gonna be ample room. Just want to throw that out there. There's gonna be ample room. We're gonna have a sufficient number of venues in California, Atlanta, and other places. There will be plenty of room for this. Let me just say that right now. And we will give you the opportunity to go ahead and reserve your tickets. So be looking for that information coming up shortly. Since we've made the announcement of when it'll be happening, now you can start getting your money together. But this will be the motion picture event of the 21st century. As Black people, 7 a.m. is not going to be as important as Roots. 7 a.m. is the most important film ever in the history of African peoples. Because this is the first one ever that is going to address the question of whether or not we actually have a future. We know we have a history. The question is, do we have a future? What will that future be? What will that future look like? And will we be a part of it? Well, this is the first film that actually addresses that. And let me tell you, the answer isn't necessarily yes. If we do not make changes yesterday, and believe it or not, it's already too late for a good number of you to make any changes at all. In California, in Detroit, it's looking like. And in other places, you've let the disease fester for so long. Barack Obama is getting ready to legalize 5 million illegals. Latinos already outnumber you by 2 million. He is getting ready to just push you all the way under and drown you under another 5 million. They're not even going to play about it. They're just going to go ahead and push you under and drown you. I was reading a news story the other day that said that illegals are not, that was the headline, illegals are not taking your jobs, they're making their own. That was what the headline said. Illegals are not taking your jobs, they are making their own. And that is what this government wants. That is what business wants. They don't care where the people came from as long as they have dollars in their hands. They don't give a damn how they got here. And the people with the money are making that decision. Dr. Claude Anderson said it before, and it's absolutely true today, with the exception of a few jigaboons. Most black people are against this idea of drowning us with illegal aliens. But Dr. Claude Anderson told you, you have no wealth. And he can get together 2 men, Bill Gates and Warren Buffett, who have more wealth than the composite of black society combined. And guess what? Those 2 men want illegals made legal. They want the illegals in the country. And guess who the government is listening to? The 40 million broke people? The 40 million powerless people? The 40 million unmotivated? The 40 million unempowered? Are they listening to them? Or are they listening to Bill Gates and Warren Buffett? Are they listening to Michael Bloomberg and Rupert Murdoch? Or are they listening to the Happy Hotep crowd? Are they listening to them? You know, the folks who've tried to make it a lifetime achievement out of being able to legalize weed where they live, in Denver, in California, in Washington State, and Washington, D.C. We've tried to hang our hat on, oh, we're going to legalize weed where we are. That's our priority. But the people coming across that border to wipe you out, they're not trying to get some weed to smoke. They're not trying to roll up a blunt. They're trying to roll up $100 bills. And in the 21st century, survival will be dictated by the people who have that type of mentality. That is who will survive. Everybody else is either going to be a slave or go out of existence altogether. And where black people are concerned, you see that they have a nationwide, concerted, organized effort. They don't intend for us to be slaves again. As far as they are concerned, for spiritual reasons, they're done with us. They are done with us. They are here to make sure that they finish the unfinished business of slavery. The unfinished business of slaves in every society throughout history. After the slaves are done doing their work, you either assimilate them out of existence or you annihilate them out of existence. But they cannot be allowed to remain as they are. They cannot be allowed to remain this subclass within your society because they constitute this ever-growing, ever-increasing threat to your power and influence. At some point, you must execute some type of final solution. And I propose to you all today that what you are seeing in California, where the black population has been cleaved to only a part of what it once was, in Detroit, where the black population is being chopped down. In the 1970s, you had 1.7 million black folk. 1.5 million about in Detroit. Today, you've got less than 700,000. You've got less than 700,000. So you went from around 1.5 million to half that. Most people with some sense would say, whoa, somebody is pushing us toward extinction. And you do not want to accept the reality that economics is war. Economics is war. And my entire existence and everything that I've done here has been to carry on the work of Marcus Garvey, the work of Malcolm X, the work of Dr. Claude Anderson, Dr. John Henry Clark, to carry on their work that they have been telling us that we have neglected the basic responsibility that we have to build a nation for ourselves. It is ridiculous, nonsensical, and contrarian, and not to mention delusional, for us to falsely and fraudulently refer to ourselves as a nation within a nation. We are not a nation within a nation. All these other people have a nation in America. We are just a bunch of folks walking around. We do not have a code of conduct. We do not have an economy. And we do not have a discipline that leads us to hold our elected officials accountable for what they do. You just have 40 million special interest groups wandering around America. 40 million special interest groups that refer to themselves as people, that refer to themselves as citizens. And 7 a.m. is about erasing that delusion. It is about dispelling ourselves of that fraudulence. And you don't have another 100 years to get this right. You have to get this right now. You're already falling all around you. America is enacting the most humane, quiet, subversive form of genocide that humanity has ever seen. Whereas Nazi Germany executed their plan over the course of 5 years, America has committed itself to executing its plan against black people over the course of 2 centuries. That they will just slowly asphyxiate us. Slowly cut off the airway. So you feel like you just died naturally. That's what we are witnessing happening right now. And that is what 7 a.m. is about addressing. Because that has been able to happen to us for one reason and one reason only. We don't have any money. We live in a world that runs on money, and we are the only people who are attempting to do the silly, irrational, and insane. We are trying to operate and live in a world that runs on money by trying to make believe that we don't need money. And there's so many reasons that we're trying to pass off this lie to ourselves. We're so used to losing. We're so used to getting beaten. We're so used to coming up short. We are so used to being proven wrong. We are so used to losing that we now have just accepted the position of being the loser class in America. We have just altogether abandoned the idea that we can be the winners. We have just forfeited that position and said, white society, you are the winner by default. You just win. All we want is for you to give us a broom to clean up the confetti when the party for your championship is over. That's what we want. And the problem is, after you're finished cleaning up their confetti, what are they going to do with you then? Well, now it's time to remove you. Brothers and sisters, we do not have money because we do not have businesses. Businesses are where all capital, all money originates. All money and all capital originates with businesses. All ability to survive on this planet is determined by your ability to own and control the Earth's resources. And the largest, most efficient way to facilitate that ownership and control is through business. Business is set up for the express purpose of maximizing the amount of capital that is generated from the ownership and use of the Earth's resources. And he who has the largest business has the largest ownership and control of the Earth's resources. Thus, all capital will be owned by him. And the people who decide that they will relegate themselves to just working for him, they will get whatever pennies or crumbs he chooses to flick off the table at you. That's all. So it is the business owner who determines if your society is going to survive, because it is the business owner who specializes in the skill of productivity, not consumption. He is the one who takes the Earth's resources and turns it into something that can be used. Thus, his powers will control everything else. It will control societal progress. It will control economic development. It will control whether you eat, whether you live or die. That is the power of the business owner, and no one else has that. But black people are so used to losing that we have actually constructed a parallel reality. We've constructed a make-believe world where we try to pretend that all these things that we're losing at either don't matter or that we found something better that we're winning at. It doesn't matter if I don't have money. Money isn't everything. I've got spiritual wealth. I've got a husband. Well, there's nothing special about having a religion or a husband. That's not special. That's not a major accomplishment. Hell, rich folk got 4 and 5 wives and 10 mistresses. So that means that they are a better person than you. No, what we as black people do is black people are so used to losing and our self-esteem is so beaten down that we have elevated minor inconsequential things to the level of godhood. We have elevated sex, a basic biological function, to the level of godhood that we gauge our self-worth by. Why? Because we ain't got nothing else. And that's the truth of it. And if you talk to your mammy about it, she'd tell you. Go find your daddy, and he'll tell you he didn't leave you anything. Your white counterparts in school and in college, at your job, their parents left them something. Why? Because their parents understood that if I don't leave my children something, then I am going to be leaving them alone to let other people take control and have power over them. I am going to give my children what they need to have power over you, not the other way around. And in black society, we've elevated shoes, clothing, a basic biological function. We have elevated that to the level of godhood, to the level of monarchy. We have subscribed supernatural characteristics to something as basic as your attire. And that is because we ain't got nothing else. And you know why? Because we didn't build anything else. We did not build anything else. And that's why you don't have anything else. Because while Henry Ford was concentrating on producing, and Rockefeller was concentrating on producing, and Carnegie and Mellon were concentrating on producing, we were concentrating on building juke joints and integrating what these white establishments and institutions had built. That's what we did. We said we don't need to own our own. We will dedicate ourselves not to building something that we own and control. We will not try to own and control the means of production. We will try to integrate into your ownership and means of production. We've been trying that now for 8 decades. How's that working out for you? Ever since we went down the red herring of universality. Tell me, how's that working out for you? How's that integration thing working out in New York? Where I've always got somebody trying to tell me we're post-racial. Why don't you go tell Eric Garner about the post-racial society of New York City? Why don't you go and do that? Why? Because you have a black female sitting in as the wife in the mayor's office in New York? That constitutes to you post-racial? Everything is fine now? That's what I mean by cowardice. That's what I refer to as cowardice. Now you know. Go ask Sean Bell about our post-racial society. Go ask Amadou Diallo about it. Go ask Oscar Grant. Go ahead and do that. Because I'm telling you, I'm tired of meeting black males who sit up here and tell me that having the ability to rub on a Latina's ass is confirmation that we've made it as a people. That we as black men, we've made it. Because I was able to rub some Asian chick on the rump. I've made it. And when a Negro says something like that, what he's really saying is, I ain't got nothing, I ain't did nothing, I ain't built nothing, and I have surrendered. I have given up on the idea that I ever will be able to have anything or build anything. So I'm going to concentrate on sex because I'm not building anything and I don't know how. Nor do I have any plans or any interest in it. I've given up. I'm just trying to figure out how I can buy in. How I can be co-opted by their society, not how I can build my own. And that is why I tell you all what I told you years ago, that in the 21st century, barring a change, 200 years ago, we were in the plantation fields. We were picking the fruits, picking the beans, picking the vegetables. Then we got emancipated, liberated, or so we thought. If you don't count that little Jim Crow thing. Then they started bringing in Mexicans to work on the plantations, to work the fields, to pick the beans, to pick the vegetables. And for the 20th century, the whole 20th century, that was who did it. But guess what? They didn't do what we did. They didn't sit there and say, I'm picking beans so I can buy a damn cell phone. They said, I'm going to come over here and build an economy, something that I own, control, and most importantly can pass down to my children. Black folk are sitting up here with the betrayal and the treason of saying that buying a cell phone is an accomplishment, is progress. Like you can pass that on to your children. That is betrayal. And most black people look at their children with despisement in their eyes. We despise our own children because we understand that we have failed them. We have failed to build anything for them. And when we look at our children, we see the shame and the humiliation of our wasted lives. That we were supposed to build something for these little lives, and we did nothing for them. And we can't face the awful, hideous truth that we went from white folk having autocratic control over us to now you've got whites, Asians, Arabs, and Hispanics who have control over you. And you actually don't have any rational reason to tell your children to respect you. And your life has been spent in the endless pursuit of avoiding that conversation. If you all want to make your parents feel like crap tonight, if you all want to make your parents feel like garbage tonight, if you all want to make your parents feel like body waste tonight, you go and ask them, hey mom, what are you leaving to me? I want to discuss your will. I want to discuss your will. I want to discuss what I'm inheriting from you. I want to discuss that. Tonight, when you all listen, tonight, November 16th, 2014, tonight, go and ask your parents that. And not just tonight, for anybody who listens to this in the future, your first time hearing this, when you stop listening to this, go and ask them. Go and ask them. Before you start telling me about respecting them, go and ask them, hey, Dad, what did you leave me? I was at school, and Nate, the white kid, his folks were discussing with him, what the land that they're leaving and the business. His dad has a semiconductor firm. And I was talking to Diego, the Latino kid, and his dad is leaving him his plumbing business. And I was talking to David Chang, the Asian kid, and his folks are leaving him a cell phone production company. He's been working at that since he was 13 years old. So I wanted to come to you, and I wanted to find out, what are you leaving me? What are you leaving me to carry on? Well, I'm leaving you with peace of mind. No, I got my own peace of mind, and it didn't come from you. I'll ask you again. What are you leaving me that I can measure and I can see? Because my peace of mind isn't any better than theirs. As a matter of fact, it's worse because I'm worried about bills. You brought me into this world. What did you leave for me? Tell me what it was that I have to pick up and carry on. Or are you going to tell me, well, you have to get to that? And the awful, evil truth of it is most of you have never had that conversation with your parents because most of you know there ain't nothing there. You know there's nothing. You haven't talked to them about that because you know there's nothing to talk about. There's nothing to talk about. When your folks don't own the house they're renting, you know there's no need to discuss the will. When your folks don't own a business, there's no need to discuss succession. There ain't crap to succeed. There ain't nothing to inherit. And we as black people have become such unscrupulous con artists that we are now attempting to con our children. On the plantations, the slave masters would con black folk and say, don't worry about all this suffering you got to do here on earth. Didn't you read the Bible? The Bible says that you will have more than me in the next life. The Bible says that you will have more than me. So, don't worry about this big house I'm in and this nice car and these nice horses and these fine clothes. Don't worry about that. I'm going to have it real hard when we get to heaven. You're going to have it so easy when we get to heaven. And don't you know that most of your parents are playing the exact same con game on you to avoid the acknowledgement that they wasted their lives. They built nothing for you. They did nothing for you. You have nothing to inherit. And when they were children, the only folks that they had to compete against were whites. You have to compete against 4 times as many competitors. And your dollar is worth 1/20th what theirs was. And as black people, that's the con game that we've been playing, where we have picked up the work of the slave master to deceive our own children. He doesn't even have to do it anymore. We have taken up that profession for him. 7 a.m. is all about stopping this vicious cycle. That there will be no more excuses, no more con games. You will be told the entire truth of what your parents did not do and what they should have been doing all along and what I now expect you to do. And I will accept no excuses from you. Because a lot of you listening to me, you got kids. Which means that you're primed and ready to repeat your parents' treason against you. Now you're going to perpetrate that treason against your own children. And it's things like that that make me wish there were a hell so you could roast in it. Damn you, if that is your plan. For everyone else, there is only one salvation, and that is by taking control of the Earth's resources. And the only way that we can control the Earth's resources is if we organize ourselves into companies and build an economy. And that is our mission into the 21st century and beyond. Is for Africans around the world to return to our roots of control and ownership of the Earth's resources, to utilize them for the benefits of our people. That is what we are here for. That is our mission into the 21st century and beyond. So that means it's time for business. Don't talk about it. Be about it. And the evolution of revolution begins January 17th. And I expect you to be there. And then January 22nd and around the world. You know, thousands of years ago, the dominant society of today walked out of the snow down into Africa. And they have been living off of the riches of the African ever since. Well, January 2015, the children of Africa in the coldest month of the year are going to walk into the snow. And we're going to show the whole world how it's done. Intelligent Black society is going to be on the march. We are going to make this the event, the place, the day. And it will be mandatory for everyone to be there. You are not here to convert people. You are not here to believe anything. You are here to express what you know, not what you believe. And you're not here to drag anybody kicking and screaming. This is about the gathering. We have been intimidated for so long into thinking that World Star Hip Hop and BET is indicative of the best that you can expect from African people. And I am here to tell you that that is a damn lie. What you are going to witness, Martin Luther King week in America in January, is going to be real Black America, real Black society. That's what it will be. We are first going to vanquish the coons and buffoons, the creation of white supremacy, the Negro. We are going to send him into oblivion. That will be the first order of business. And once we have his albatross no longer gumming up the works and spreading like a virus, Sharpen your blades. Your economy is your blade. Your economy is your weapon. Your economy is your doomsday device. Your economy is everything, because your economy is what you own and what you control, and ultimately what you will pass down. We're not falling for any more con games. Not gonna have Kenneth Copeland or anybody else come walking in here telling us that we need to focus on the love of Jesus. We're not gonna have anybody else walking in here telling us that you need to get good education. We're not gonna have anybody walking in here telling you that you need to vote for this guy or vote for that guy. We're not gonna have anybody coming up here telling us that you have to watch this TV show and clap for somebody who's sitting on TV and ain't both a damn thing for us. No, brothers and sisters. The religion will be black empowerment. The university will be black empowerment. The candidate that I'm voting for is black empowerment. That is the only thing that will matter. And empowerment is what we can see and measure. Not some spirituality that is a con game and your parents know it's a con game. They're just hoping that they can get you to leave them alone, because the truth is they ain't build nothing for you. We're not focusing on any con games. Your parents might be professional con men. We're not. They're con men. We're businessmen. And women. And that is what it will be about in the 21st century. So, to whosoever is listening, now you know when. Soon you will know where. And after that, I expect you to pick it up and take it on the road. I have spent the last 5 years laying out for you all in detail every single concept you can imagine. Don't ask what kind of business you can start. The question is, what do you want to start? And then use your creativity to make it happen. First, on a micro level. It needs to meet whatever your economic means are at the time. And then take it from there. I told you all the story of how, for example, in Chelsea, New York, in the neighborhood of Chelsea in New York, Google has set up Wi-Fi internet service in a 10-block radius for $150,000. Kanye West is making a complete buffoon of himself on this fool's errand, trying to get Versace or Calvin Klein or somebody to be stupid enough to go into business with him for yet another rapper-inspired clothing line. These Negroes are one-trick ponies. Mankind has had clothing since the Africans cut the first sheep. And yet black men in the 21st century are still trying to figure out how to perfect the end of the 20th century. Clothing line went out of style in the 20th century. Black men are in the 21st century still trying to figure out how we can breathe life back into this thing. We are looking backwards. We think our best days are behind us, but we are intelligent black society, and we know that our best days are in front of us. Did you know that what I just told you right there, that Kanye West could take $5 million and have, Harlem active for wireless internet service? He could have that whole damn area of New York active for internet service and be raking the money in. But you know what? He doesn't want to do that. But guess what? This is good. This is good. This is good because, you see, his woman is giving up on him. That's why she's out there in the magazine ass naked right now. She has given up on him. She knows he's not going anywhere else. This is it. This is the best we can expect out of him. But you know what? It's not the best we can expect out of you, because if he doesn't want to lock that game up, guess what? That leaves it wide open for you. And not just in New York, in LA, in Sacramento, in Atlanta, in Dallas, in Houston, in Galveston, forget New York. What about New Orleans? What about New Hampshire? What about Cleveland? What about Cincinnati? What about Tennessee, Memphis, Nashville, Miami, Orlando, Jacksonville, Birmingham, DC, Baltimore, Detroit, Chicago? We don't need him. He works for the other side. He's not on our team. We ain't got him. But guess what? We don't need him. I'm going to tell y'all right now, if you set up a Wi-Fi network like that, you could sit up here and be selling ads on it. People would be able to access it and you could sell ads on it. All it's going to cost you is, now, assuming that it takes more than just $150 to set up, if you spent $250,000. If you live in New York, there's no reason that you can't turn that into easy money. Easy money. Why are you not getting with your council member? That should be easy money. You should be able to have apps that run on that thing everywhere, and you give proprietary access. That's easy money. Easy money. And because people are not paying for it, you wouldn't be held to the same standards as an AT&T or a Verizon, because they're not paying for it. Because you don't have to give them general, you don't even have to give them general internet access. You can just give them internet access where you want it to be. You can just stream specific things. We don't have LeBron investing in that. Michael Jordan is still trying to pretend he's 20 years old, chasing hoes and slamming Cadillac doors. The old generation is gone and lost. They have done everything they're going to do. They're not going to do a damn thing else. They're not going to invest in any of you because they are living with an inferiority complex, and every dime that they spend is spent trying to impress somebody white. And Kanye West is trying to impress white men. That's why he's got his money, and he's sitting up here arguing with Slay, talking about he wants to sit up here and demand the clothing company. With this man trying to tell Kanye, dude, you are wasting it. You are wasting it. You're wasting it. But guess what? That leaves opportunities for the rest of you. 4 of you black men in New York should get together on something like that. FUBU, damn that. We did that. People are not paying top dollar for clothes anymore like that. People are paying top dollar for technology, for access, and you can do that. But are you waiting? Are you waiting for LeBron? Are you waiting for Kanye? Are you waiting for somebody else to come and do that? And you know what's going to happen? Let me tell you what's going to happen. Either Google or some Asians or some Arabs are going to go marching into Harlem and go wire that area up for wireless service. What y'all going to say after that happens? Did you know that if you get it wired up like that, that as the gentrification of Harlem progresses, that the value of your wireless network in Harlem will only increase? Did you know that? Did you know that you can play it the same way that the TV stations and the radio stations do in New York? That as the property values in the areas where you operate go up, access to your Wi-Fi network for advertising go up also. But we're waiting for some Asians or some Arabs to come set it up, and then we're gonna whine and complain and pitch and moan and caterwaul about how they're charging us so much to be on their network. FUBU was started by 4 black men. Why is it we don't have 4 black men in New York right now listening to this broadcast who are saying, hey, I ain't got $250,000, you ain't got $250,000, but you know, if I put in 50 and you put in 50, man, we can start getting there. If I put in 60, 70, and you put in 50, you put in 70, you put in 60, We'll get there. We'll all go into this. We'll all make some things happen. That's what we're supposed to be about. That's what we're supposed to be doing. And as black people, if we were serious about it, that's what we would be doing. And just like I sat down and said, well, let's investigate how do we make this happen? Not looking at the cost of it, but saying, how can I get these costs down to a format that I can afford, that I can work with? What can we do? Use your creativity and make these things happen. Figure out a better way. If you can't set up a fiber optic network, set up a DSL network. Can't set up DSL, set up Wi-Fi. Can't set up Wi-Fi, set up something smaller than that. But figure it out. Make it happen. You can do it. If you believe. But your parents taught you to not believe in yourself because your parents did not believe in themselves. Your parents worship white supremacy like a god. And that is the shameful truth of it. That is why they're not scared of you, because they know what your parents feel about them. They worship white supremacy like a god, and they conditioned you to feel the same way and to treat it the same way. That there's some mystical, magical power that even though you may work for an AT&T or Verizon, you sitting up here wiring up their network but telling yourself that you couldn't do the same thing for yourself. And they're sitting there smiling because you believe that nonsense. I want black folk who don't think like that. I want black people who know what we're capable of. I want black people who not believe but know what we can do and are bent and determined to get it done. That's who I want to hook up with. That's who I'm trying to reach out to. That is who I am trying to merge with and cooperate with. That's who. So if you know what I know, if you see what I see, if you feel what I feel, if you're black and broke, it's time to wake up. It's 7 a.m. And this concludes tonight's broadcast of the BlackChannel.net radio. I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, the Black Authority. And until next time, brothers and sisters from around the world, remember, I have a dream too. And you'll all be seeing it.